Allah's choice is always wiser than ours because it comes from complete knowledge, not limited perception. Human choice is shaped by emotion, fear, desire, past wounds, and incomplete information. We decide based on what we see in front of us, often only the surface of a situation. Allah, however, sees what will be, and what would have happened if things were different. His knowledge is not linear or reactive. It is absolute and encompassing. When something does not work out the way we planned, it is not because Allah overlooked our needs or ignored our prayers, but because His wisdom accounted for realities we could never grasp. What feels like loss to us may be protection from harm. Delay may be preparation, and denial may be preservation of something far more valuable than what we were asking for. Often, people assume that if something feels good or desirable, it must be good for them. But desire is not a reliable compass for well-being. Many things that attract the heart can weaken the soul, distract from purpose, or lead to long-term pain. Allah's wisdom operates beyond immediate comfort and temporary happiness. It is oriented toward the ultimate good of a person's faith, character, and destiny. When Allah removes something or someone, it is not an act of cruelty but of care. Just as a surgeon causes pain to heal the body, divine wisdom may allow discomfort to heal the heart. Trusting Allah's choice requires humility, acknowledging that our understanding is incomplete and that surrendering control is not weakness but clarity. There is also mercy in recognizing that human plans are fragile. People plan with hope but are often blind to consequences. Allah's plan, however, is unbreakable and intentional. When we cling too tightly to our own expectations, disappointment becomes inevitable. But when we accept that Allah's choice overrides our own, disappointment transforms into peace. This does not mean a person stops feeling pain or confusion. It means they stop interpreting pain as failure or punishment. Instead, they begin to see it as part of a larger, meaningful design. Allah's wisdom does not always reveal itself immediately, but with time, reflection, and spiritual growth, many people look back and realize that what they once begged for would have broken them. Trusting Allah's wisdom also reshapes how we understand unanswered prayers. Not every prayer is answered in the way it is asked, but every sincere prayer is answered in a way that serves the believer. Sometimes the answer is exactly what was requested. Sometimes it is delayed until the person is ready. Sometimes it is replaced with something better. And sometimes it is withheld entirely to protect the person from harm they cannot foresee. The problem arises when people equate love with compliance, assuming that if Allah loved them, He would give them exactly what they want. In reality, love is proven through guidance, protection, and outcomes that nurture the soul, not the ego. The second keynote follows naturally from the first. Being chosen by Allah matters more than being chosen by people. Human selection is inconsistent, conditional, and often self-serving. People choose based on benefit, attraction, status, convenience, or timing. They may choose someone today and discard them tomorrow. Their approval is fragile and subject to change. Allah's choice, on the other hand, is rooted in purpose. When Allah chooses someone for a trial, a role, a blessing, or even a delay, it is not random. It is intentional and aligned with that person's growth and ultimate success. Being chosen by Allah may not always look glamorous or feel affirming, but it is always meaningful. Many people suffer deeply because they equate their worth with being chosen by others. When they are rejected, ignored, or replaced, they internalize the rejection and believe it reflects their value. This is a spiritual misunderstanding. Human rejection is not a divine verdict. Someone not choosing you does not mean you are unworthy. It means their path is different from yours. When Allah allows someone to walk away, it may be because their presence would have delayed your growth, distracted your heart, or pulled you away from your purpose. Allah's choice prioritizes your soul over your feelings, your destination over your attachment. Being chosen by Allah often involves being removed from what is familiar. Comfort zones, relationships, and plans may be stripped away so that dependence shifts from creation to the Creator. This can feel lonely, especially in a world that glorifies validation and belonging. But solitude under Allah's care is far better than companionship that distances one from Him. When Allah chooses someone, He may place them in situations that sharpen patience, deepen reliance, and purify intention. These experiences are not signs of neglect. They are signs of investment. Allah invests in those He intends to elevate. There is also a profound freedom in realizing that people's choices do not define you. When a person understands that Allah's approval is the ultimate success, they stop chasing validation that exhausts the heart. They stop reshaping themselves to be accepted and start anchoring themselves in sincerity. This does not make a person cold or detached, it makes them grounded. They remember that even if everyone turns away, Allah remains. And if Allah remains, nothing essential is lost. This awareness softens the pain of rejection and replaces bitterness with trust. Being chosen by Allah also reframes success. Success is no longer measured by popularity, relationships, or outcomes that look impressive from the outside. It is measured by alignment with the divine guidance, inner peace, and consistency in faith. A person may not be chosen for a certain role, relationship, or opportunity, but may be chosen for resilience, wisdom, and closeness to Allah. These are quieter gifts, often unnoticed by the world, but immensely valuable. When the heart understands this, envy fades and contentment grows. Ultimately, the two keynotes are deeply connected. Allah's wisdom governs His choices, and His choices are always for the believer's good, even when they conflict with human desires or expectations. When people do not choose you, it is not a gap that needs to be filled with self-doubt. It is a space Allah may be clearing for something purer, safer, or more aligned with who you are meant to become. Trusting Allah's wisdom and valuing His choice above all else transforms rejection into reassurance and uncertainty into surrender. Rejection can be redirection because not every door that closes is meant to be forced open. Many people interpret rejection as a sign of failure, inadequacy, or loss, but within the framework of divine wisdom, rejection often serves as guidance. When something does not work out, despite effort and sincerity, it may be because continuing on that path would have led to harm, stagnation, or misalignment with one's purpose. Allah redirects not by explanation, but by outcome. The redirection is subtle and often painful because it disrupts expectations, yet it carries a mercy that only becomes visible with time. What feels like being pushed away may actually be being pulled towards something more fitting. Human beings tend to become attached to specific outcomes, imagining that their happiness depends on one person, one opportunity, or one version of life. This attachment narrows perspective and makes rejection feel catastrophic. But divine redirection expands the path. It breaks the illusion that fulfillment is limited to a single option. When Allah redirects someone, He is not depriving them. He is protecting them from settling for less than what they were created for. Many paths appear appealing because they align with desire, familiarity, or ego, not because they align with growth or faith. Redirection disrupts comfort so that deeper alignment can occur. Redirection also reveals truth. Sometimes rejection exposes intentions, both our own and others. It clarifies who was meant to stay and who was meant to pass through briefly. It teaches discernment, showing that not every opportunity is a blessing and not every loss is a punishment. When a person is redirected, they are given the chance to reassess priorities, strengthen reliance on Allah, and realign their heart with what truly matters. The pain of rejection often becomes the catalyst for self-awareness and spiritual depth that comfort would never have produced. Over time, many people realize that if they had been accepted where they were rejected, they would have compromised themselves, delayed their healing, or remained in a space that limited their potential. Redirection saves a person from environments, relationships, or roles that would have drained them. It preserves energy for what is more suitable. The heart may resist this initially, but wisdom grows when one stops asking, "Oh, why was I rejected?" and starts asking, "Oh, what am I being redirected toward?" That shift transforms rejection from an ending into a transition. The fourth keynote, that what misses you was never written for you, addresses one of the deepest sources of anxiety: regret over what did not happen. People often replay moments in their minds, imagining alternative outcomes. What if they had tried harder, spoken differently, waited longer, or chosen another path? This mental cycle creates guilt and self-blame, as if a single misstep caused the loss of something that was meant to be theirs. Understanding divine decree dissolves this burden. If something truly misses you, it is not because you failed. It is because it was never destined to reach you. Divine decree is not random or careless. It is precise. What is written for a person will arrive regardless of obstacles, delays, or detours. And what is not written will never remain, no matter how intensely it is pursued. This understanding frees the heart from obsession with control. It reminds a person that their responsibility is effort and sincerity, not outcomes. Outcomes belong to Allah alone. Regret becomes less consuming when one understands that no amount of effort could have secured what was not meant to stay. This belief does not encourage passivity or laziness. It encourages peace after effort. A person still strives, plans, and hopes, but they do not shatter when things fall apart. They recognize that loss is not always a reflection of personal failure. Sometimes it is simply the unfolding of a decree that was always going to occur. The heart finds rest in knowing that it did not miss out on something essential. If it missed, it was never theirs to begin with. Clinging to what has passed often blocks gratitude for what remains. When someone believes they lost something meant for them, they remain emotionally anchored to the past. But when they accept that what missed them was never written for them, they become present. They stop living in imagined timelines and start engaging with reality as it is. This acceptance does not erase sadness, but it removes resentment and self-blame. It allows healing to begin without the weight of endless if-only thoughts. This understanding also reshapes how a person views comparison. Seeing others receive what one wanted can intensify pain, making it feel personal or unfair. But divine decree is individual, not competitive. What is written for one person has no bearing on what is written for another. When someone else receives what you did not, it does not mean you were less deserving. It means your paths are different. Contentment grows when the heart accepts that provision, love, and success are not distributed by human logic but by divine wisdom. When these two keynotes are internalized together, rejection and loss lose their power to define identity. Redirection becomes guidance rather than humiliation, and what misses becomes release rather than regret. The heart gradually learns to trust that nothing essential will bypass it and nothing harmful will remain with it. In that trust, anxiety softens, attachment loosens, and the soul learns to walk forward without constantly looking back. The idea that what reaches you could never miss you brings deep reassurance to a restless heart. Many people live with constant fear that they will lose what matters most to them, as though life is a fragile thread that can snap at any moment. This fear often leads to anxiety, overthinking, and an unhealthy need to control outcomes. Understanding that what is truly meant for you will reach you dismantles this fear at its root. Divine decree is not fragile or accidental. What is written for a person moves toward them with certainty, even if the path is winding, delayed, or hidden. Missed timelines, failed plans, and unexpected detours do not cancel what has been decreed. This belief nurtures patience during waiting periods. When something feels distant or delayed, the heart naturally wonders whether it has been lost forever. But delay is not evidence of absence. What is written may arrive later than expected, so that a person is more prepared, more mature, or more capable of handling it. If something is meant to reach you, it will find you in the right version of yourself, not necessarily the version you are today. Trusting this reduces desperation and helps a person stop chasing outcomes prematurely. They learn to wait with purpose rather than panic. It also reshapes how loss is perceived. When something leaves after arriving, the heart may question whether it was truly meant to be. But reaching does not always mean staying forever. Some things are meant to reach you briefly to teach, awaken, or prepare you. What could never miss you is not always what remains permanently. It is what fulfills its purpose in your life. Once that purpose is complete, its departure does not contradict divine decree. It completes it. This understanding helps a person honor what was received without clinging to what was not meant to last. Believing that what reaches you could never miss you also softens envy. When others receive blessings sooner or in greater measure, comparison can stir resentment or self-doubt. But divine timing is personal, not competitive. If something has not reached you yet, it does not mean it is avoiding you or favoring someone else. It simply means your timeline is different. What is written for you is moving toward you in a way that serves you best, not in a way that mirrors someone else's journey. Peace grows when the heart trusts its own decree. The sixth keynote, that Qadr, includes both ease and hardship, corrects the misconception that divine favor is only reflected through comfort. Many people associate blessings with ease and assume hardship signals punishment or distance from Allah. This understanding creates confusion when a sincere believer faces difficulty. But divine decree is not a reward system based solely on comfort. It is a comprehensive plan that includes both expansion and restriction, joy and sorrow, clarity and confusion. Each has a role in shaping the believer. Ease tests gratitude, sincerity and humility. Hardship tests patience, trust and resilience. Both are necessary. A life of constant ease would weaken reliance on Allah, while a life of constant hardship would overwhelm the soul. Divine wisdom balances the two, alternating states, so that the heart does not attach too firmly to comfort or despair completely in pain. Hardship is not evidence of abandonment. Often it is evidence of refinement. Through difficulty, the heart is stripped of false dependencies and redirected toward what is lasting. Hardship also reveals truths that ease conceal. In moments of comfort, a person may feel self-sufficient, attributing success to effort alone. In hardship, illusion collapses. The heart becomes aware of its vulnerability and need. This awareness is not humiliation, it is clarity. It opens the door to sincere supplication, humility, and growth. Many people discover their deepest connection to Allah, not in moments of success, but in moments of brokenness. Hardship creates space for sincerity that comfort rarely demands. Including hardship in Qadr also reframes unanswered prayers. Sometimes a person prays intensely for relief, yet difficulty remains. This does not mean the prayer was ignored. It may mean the hardship itself is serving a purpose greater than immediate relief. It may be purifying intentions, strengthening character, or protecting from a greater harm. When a person understands that hardship is part of divine decree, they stop seeing it as an obstacle to faith and begin seeing it as a pathway within faith. This understanding encourages balance. A believer enjoys ease without arrogance and endures hardship without despair. They understand that neither state is permanent and neither defines their worth. Both are chapters in a larger story written with wisdom. When ease comes, they are grateful without forgetting Allah. When hardship comes, they are patient without assuming rejection. The heart becomes stable, not because circumstances are stable, but because trust is. Together, these keynotes anchor the soul in certainty. What reaches you was always meant to reach you, and what unfolds, whether gentle or difficult, is part of a decree shaped by wisdom, not randomness. This certainty does not remove pain or struggle, but it gives them meaning. And meaning transforms endurance into strength and waiting into worship.